Training large language models is an incredible resource-intensive process. It involves not only creating and collecting datasets, but also refining and formatting them, selecting the right model architecture, writing training code, and executing the training. And that's if everything runs smoothly. But what if there was an all-in-one platform that lets you skip several of these steps? Imagine managing, curating, and labeling multimodal data, including images, videos, audio, documents, text, and even DICOM files, all in one place. Well, with Encord, this is 100% possible. Encord is the fastest and most efficient way to manage, curate, and annotate AI data. It's the leading data development platform for computer vision and multimodal applications, and it can even be adapted for text-based datasets. With tools to intelligently manage, clean, and curate your data, streamline label workflows, and evaluate AI model performance with its simplified data pipeline, which is going to save you time and effort. Today, I'll show you how you can use Encord to transform unstructured data into high-quality datasets, which can then be used for training, fine-tuning, and aligning AI models. This is a new, affordable, and straightforward approach to training any LM, whether that's a multimodal model or a text-based one. So with that thought, let's dive straight into the video and see how you can use Encord to revolutionize your AI data workflow. Before we get started, let's understand the three main components of Encord and why we're going to be utilizing it for this process of fine-tuning and training our large language model. Starting off with Index, which is where it helps us manage and store data like text, images, videos, and DICOM files. It allows the creation of datasets that could be used across multiple projects. Secondly, you have Annotate, which provides tools to label data effectively. It's going to enable you to create workflows, apply object boundaries, and conduct quality assurance for labeled data, meaning that your data will be more refined. And lastly, you have Active, which is a key component of Encord that enhances datasets through active learning. It systematically refines annotations and rejects low-quality labels to improve model performance iteratively. Now, together, these components create a feedback loop to optimize different sorts of data sets that your model could use for fine-tuning. And this is where we're going to be utilizing this platform to help us refine these labels and monitor performance impact so that we can then use this great data that we've collected from this AI-driven data platform to help us fine-tune our model. And once we have gotten the curated data, as well as the annotated AI data that we've created, we can then feed that into a platform like Autotrain or GPT-llm-trainer to start utilizing the data that we have gotten to fine-tune the large language model. This whole process is just a matter of clicking a few buttons to easily fine-tune your model with the best possible approach that's available right now. So let's get started. I want you to take a look at the Encord link in the description below. Once you have clicked on that link, go over to the login page. This is where you can easily go ahead to sign up with an account. Once you sign up, you're going to be then sent over to the main dashboard of Encord, where you can start by indexing your files, whether that's through integrations or by uploading various file types. Over here, you can start off by creating a new folder. So I'll go ahead and create a folder for my data, and then we can go ahead and start uploading various files. And like I mentioned before, indexing allows you to unify all your data sources across countless of different types of integrations, whether that's AWS S3 or GCS. You have various sorts of ways for you to securely manage and visualize countless data files in one single platform, and that's through Encord. So now that we have indexed all of our data, what we can now do is move on to the next step, which is where we're going to focus on curating the files for our project. So go ahead and name it whatever you'd want. I'm going to name this car dataset, and I'll explain this in a second. Now let's go ahead and create this new data set, and from here you can just attach existing files from your data folder that you just created and indexed, whether that's from uploading files from your local storage or from integrations like S3. So go ahead and attach the files, and you can see that it has now been added to your car dataset. Now you can do things such as adding other team individuals or groups into this car dataset. You can provide or attach link projects, and then there's also a danger zone where you can delete this dataset. And like I mentioned, you have the ability to integrate new types of integration with GCP as well as many of these other providers. So if you want to use GCP, you can simply click on it and it'll give you a step-by-step guide as to how you can integrate your data from these different providers. So we have integrated our files. We created a data set for the files that we've uploaded. Now we're going to start off with annotation. This is where we're going to create and review high quality labels for our project and our data set. Annotations is basically the process of attributing or tagging or even labeling data to help machine learning algorithms understand and classify the information they process. It's basically a way of you properly reviewing your data and providing labels so that you can either apply boundaries, classifying what you want in your data set, also streamlining the dataset management process. And now what we're going to be doing is creating our project, which is the driver assistance system. So like I mentioned before, we created that car dataset so that we can help describe computer vision technology to our model. This is basically by providing various sorts of samples of cars in action, meaning that just regular videos of cars and vehicles being driven across various cities as well as various streets. And essentially, we're going to be creating this driver assistance system, and we're going to be utilizing this data set after we have annotated and curated the data to be fed into something like AutoTrain to help us train a vision model so that it could potentially detect hazards such as pedestrians, vehicles, and obstacles. So now that we have a clear idea of what we're going to be doing, let's go ahead and give this a title. We can provide a couple of tags. This is where we can now attach our data set, which is the car data that we had created previously. And we can go ahead and click attach. So now that we have attached this, we can also attach ontology. Ontology basically involves structuring the framework for your annotation task. So it's basically where you define the objects, classifications, and attributes necessary for comprehensive labeling. So for my case, I want to make sure that there is ontology for cars. So this is where you can add objects. In this case, I'm going to be adding a car. You can then have it so that you can provide classification where you can classify what's basically happening in the entire frame. Then you can go ahead and click create ontology. From here, you can then go ahead and create your project. Now, once this is done, you will be able to see your project task overview. You will also be able to see the instance label task status. There's a couple of other things like exploring your statistics, labels, performance, and then exporting, which is all stuff that we'll take a look at in a bit. But now let's go ahead and start labeling. So we already have our dataset uploaded, but now we're going to go over and start labeling things. So since we have already developed the class of identifying cars, we're going to click on this and we're going to click on toggle auto annotation. Now, this is where it's actually utilizing the SAM2 model from Facebook, where you can simply go ahead and click on a region and it's going to start building up the segmentation. So we can see that it has already segmented this car. Something cool that you can also do is you can automate labeling, where you can choose the classification model, detection, and segmentation, as well as the agent. You have various agents that you can choose from. You can simply select the one that you want to use. And then what you can do is just simply click on trigger agent and it will autonomously annotate anything for you autonomously. So I have went along and I have segmented all the different cars that are available in the frame. And now you can see that all the different labels have been made. Once you have labeled all your cars, as well as anything that you would want to label for your data set, you can then go ahead and click submit. Now, this was just to showcase how you can effectively annotate documents for multimodal AI models. But remember, you can also do this with videos, PDFs, text files, and much more, where you can simply annotate various text, different types of titles. You can iterate and validate on it further. And you can see that this is a way for you to actively iterate for improvements, to streamline your workflow, and improve your datasets with not just images, but with even text. Once you have finished labeling, you can start reviewing now. So go ahead and click on Start Review, and you can see that it's gonna be able to showcase all the different segmentations that have been made, and you can then approve or you can either reject all in the frame. In our case, I would like to approve, so click on Approve All. And after your dataset has been curated and annotated, you can then format it as a JSON file or Cocoa file, and then you can then export this. So in this case, you can see that it has been labeled fully, so you can go ahead and click on Export, and it's gonna then be able to be downloaded. And there we go, we have our labels JSON file, and we can now go into something like auto train or gpt-llm-trainer to start training a model. So what you can do next is then click on Create a New Project. This will basically start up your spaces, give it a project name, and then you can select the model. In this case, if I want to use something like Llama 3.2, which is an ideal multimodal model, you can then select that. You can then upload your training data. So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and upload the zip file. I have then provided the zip file. You can specify chart templates, distributed backend, and you can optimize your model based off of these different presets. To train this model, you can then click on Start Training. And that's essentially how you can easily fine-tune any model by creating your own data and then having that data fine-tuned to your model. This is where Encord simplified this whole process, which saves you so much time, enabling seamless data integration and workflow management to accelerate this model development. So definitely recommend that you take a look at this with the link in the description below, as well as all the other links that I use in today's video. Now, I definitely recommend that you follow me on the Patreon so that you can access our private subscriptions that we give out on a monthly basis for free. Follow me on Twitter, a great way for you to stay up to date with the latest AI news. And lastly, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like this video, and check out our previous videos so that you can stay up to date with whatever's happening in the world of AI. But with that thought, guys, have an amazing day, spread positivity, and I'll see you guys fairly shortly. Peace out, fellas.